Are we on the verge of global war? Why is it that all the generals, staff, and admirals have been called to Washington, D.C., to Quantico, actually, the Quantico Marine Base near Washington, D.C.? And we now know it's not just Hexeth that's going to be lecturing them on warrior ethos. We know for a fact that none less than President Donald Trump is going to address this august group. Why? What is cooking? And to make it all the sauce all the thicker, we have KC 135s and 46s en route to Europe. They're actually already there. There may be more on the way. You may have heard a dozen. How about this? How about 30? Maybe 30 of these tankers on the way or already at Europe, maybe going somewhere else. We don't know. And is this a diversion or some going somewhere else, just like went down in Iran? Last time we did something this scale, we bombed Iran. Are we going to bomb Iran again? Is this set up for Russia with all the tensions going on there? Or is this something entirely different? What is cooking, my friends? We need to know. We need to understand what is coming down on us. See, this is all happening against the backdrop of everything in Europe. This is going on against the backdrop of what's happening in the Caribbean Sea. Whoops, hang on, let me turn this down. This is happening. Just bringing my phone up. So I can see the chat room. This is happening against the backdrop of the sea states in the Taiwan Strait are about to hit the calm point, and it may be that China is about to make a move against the backdrop, but we just put a nuclear submarine in the Philippines. Why? Just surfaced there just a few days ago. Now, all that also, you got to consider that, even though we're all staged in the Caribbean to attack Venezuela seemingly, the USS Newport News nuclear submarine, it's not an ICBM submarine, it's a fast attack submarine. It's not aimed down toward Venezuela, it's out at the islands, the island chain, somewhere around the Virgin Islands or somewhere in the eastern part of the Caribbean Sea, aimed out at the Atlantic Ocean as if do not interfere. Who do they think would be planning to interfere? Why is it? We hear all these different things. Also, Donald Trump wants to take Bagram Air Force Base in Venezuela. Why? China. Oh, yeah, China. Well, it's been suggested that China won't let him do it without a full-blown war, that China is willing to engage in whatever's necessary to keep the United States out and Russia also, because this gives us a big advantage if we can get in there militarily. And also, if we're there, it's going to maybe thwart China's plans to mine Iran for all of its minerals, all of its riches. So we've got all kinds of mayhem on the board right now. We don't know where this is going, but a lot of people have suggested, well, it's just about Bagram. Well, it's just about Venezuela. Well, it's just about Russia. It's just about this or that, or you've heard a dozen, 2 dozen different things. If that's the case, why was all the generals, all the admirals worldwide, including those in combat tense regions, all of them pulled in? Does that not invoke the idea that it could possibly be something global? Are we on the precipice of World War III? I don't know. Maybe it is just Hex's went off his rocker and wants to give a rah-rah speech. Warrior ethos. All that trouble for this? Why are the KC-135s afloat in the air or already landing over there? You tell me. What do you think? Tell me in the chat room. Drop it. I'll check the messages in a little bit. But, and talk in the chat below if you're watching this in the morning. What do you think is really going down? We're going to find out pretty soon, possibly. What I warn you about this meeting, all these people are saying, well, it's this, it's that. And, they're saying that it's just that warrior ethos. It's just a rah-rah speech. And they're really complaining bitterly about it. What I tell you a few days ago, I said, you're not going to know. You're just flat not going to know what this is all about for maybe until the missiles are in the air, the bombs are falling. They're not going to tell us. This is too big a meeting. This is the top secret meeting. They wouldn't have called all these people in for a rah-rah talk. They could have done that electronically. This is something they did not want to be sniffed out for electronically. They did not want a whisper to get. That's what really drives this to be interesting. Now, we've heard about the tankers en route. We've heard about the tankers, but what we've not heard about is what some people on ground are claiming. There's a whole lot of other aircraft involved. There's a whole lot of fighter aircraft, maybe other aircraft involved, maybe intelligence aircraft. So this is far bigger, probably, than what we're hearing. You got to remember that when we struck Iran, we let it be seen that some aircraft were going somewhere. But then the ones that wasn't seen were the ones that was really going to the mission site. So this could be just a big deception. Or it could just be 5D chess. Maybe Donald Trump is trying to really rattle somebody's chain hard. Well, I guarantee you, with this meeting coming up tomorrow, which is today already for some of you, still 30 minutes away from tomorrow for me. But guys, with this meeting coming up and the KC-135s and all the other big super tankers flying around, you can bet the leaders of other countries, several other countries that got their exit sphincter, other digestive tract puckered up pretty tight. They've got to be wise wide up over there. They got to be, maybe they're trembling even. Maybe they got their fingers hovering over the red buttons. I don't know, guys. But this is, maybe they're on their highest level of their equivalent of DEF CON. Where are we at on DEF CON? We don't know. It's classified. What might be telling is to see what starts happening when the generals get back to their command post. And that may take a day or two. Maybe. Or maybe it's all going to go down while they're there in Quantico. Yikes, I don't know. And it could be a loyalty test in part because we're about to do something so big. If you ain't in on it, you're out. This could be huge. It could be very huge. We just don't know. Or then again, maybe they're just going to pass out some roses and pandas. Say, thank y'all for coming. We love you all. Be a warrior. We're coming into war times. Be a warrior. I don't think it's that. I wished it was, though. I really do. Yeah. Guys, all you got to do is look at the backdrop of what is happening. Like I said, the sea states are just about to go calm. Oh, yeah, our federal budget is about to go zoop because there's no agreement on a continuing resolution for spending. Yeah. We are in interesting times any way you slice it. This week is going to be very interesting. We've just seen all these maneuvers of Russian jets, Russian drones probing European countries. In Denmark and Norway, they've had over 500 drones flying around. And it's just come out that the three MiG-31s that went into uh, uh, Latvia that was like went in further than what they thought. They flew deeper than they thought. They flew for 12 minutes before they were intercepted, which is a long time for jets like that. We were patting ourselves on, oh, yeah, we got them in 12 minutes. Yeah, in 12 minutes, carrying a long-range missile, they could have done a lot of damage. So if they had so chose. So why is Russia doing this? Like I've said, it don't even make sense for them to be doing this because their hands are full with what they're doing in Ukraine. Now, they just had the biggest troop call up. Their fall call up of the troops was 150,000 troops. That's what they're drafted. They had a spring call up of 160,000. So total 310,000 called up fresh troops just this year. They may be getting ready for a big move. But their hands are so full of Ukraine. I would imagine that Ukraine is the target. But you got to consider all the consultations they've had lately with Belarus, sending these nuclear capable missiles to Belarus, and supposedly nukes included. You got to consider uh, all these things going down. Yeah, and so a lot of the heads in Europe, or some of them are saying, "Hey, but we are." Lavrov has been saying all along that Europe was effectively at war with uh, Russia. Well, now in Europe, they're kind of flipping it around, saying Russia's effectively at war with us. So the rhetoric is getting off the charts. All these sides are probing and testing each other. They could slip into a war accidentally, all too easily. Now, all that said, you got to wonder, like I said, why this testing has been done. I submit that the real purpose of this testing and probing is to keep our attention in Europe while China does their play. Or maybe it's just a dry run for China to practice for the next time the sea states are calm and they really want to make a move. Are they going to make a move now? Or is all this just posturing, testing, and probing? We don't know. They definitely want to size us up to know how we will react before they take a measure. But it's known that China really, I say China because there's two Chinas, believe it or not, the People's Republic of China, which is run by the CCP, which was the insurgency that ran out the Republic of China, King Chai-chek, which was running China, which beat the Japanese with our help. And I mean, we did it. We just run them out of China. But they had a civil war there. And it looked like the Republic of China had the upper hand until the PRC forces on the CCP did what they call the Long March and did a surprise operation on them and sent the Republic of China in exile basically to the island of Formosa, which we know is Taiwan. So the country in Taiwan is officially the Republic of China. They still fly the same flag, by the way. So they were never under the People's Republic of China. So this whole notion of reunification that the People's Republic of China talks about them is a false claim. All that aside, I'm sure Xi Jinping loves me for saying that, but anyway, all that aside, Daddy Pooh Bear, he ain't my daddy. Anyway, all that aside, just my chance to call him Pooh Bear. He hates that apparently. But anyway, all that aside, the situation is they may be getting ready to pounce. They got all the materials they really need to do it. The sea states are right. We're highly distracted. Our ammo's low. There's that old adage, hit while the iron's hot. It may be the iron's hot right now. Or maybe they still got one little more thing they want to put in place before they actually do it. I would expect a blockade first. I would expect them to hit a bunch of missiles into Taiwan. I would have thought they would have done it before the sea states got calm, but who knows? Maybe they got such a blitzer. They got so many rockets, they could do it all pretty fast. And that's what they've been setting up is rapid mobilization capabilities to include now airborne troops who could parachute into Taiwan. That's a new wrinkle in the whole paradigm that we weren't aware of until just very recently, a few weeks ago, at least publicly aware of. So there is all kind of potential here that could go off. There's all kind of mayhem. I mean, we're talking Iran and Israel. We're talking Venezuela. We're talking North Korea. We're talking uh, China, Russia, Europe, and there's war going on in Africa, war in South America, and guess what? What Nate on Canadian Prepper was talking about today. He's talking about an alert to our hospitals to get ready for mass casualties right here at home. Who, my friends, have I been warning you guys that the next war isn't going to be all overseas? What do you think all these sleeper cells are for? I mean, our borders have been thrown wide open for so long. So many people coming. I've been ringing alarm bells about that for more than a couple of years, for some time. Actually, pretty much since inception of this channel, I warned you guys about sleeper cells that were designated to take down substations of our power grid. The FBI, even under Christopher Wray, admitted that there were sleeper cells, Chinese sleeper cells, that were aiming at our water supply. And we know that a lot of other things apparently are targeted too. And then there's the calls by ISIS and the calls by uh, Al Qaeda now to attack here in the United States, to attack pretty much everything. Hospitals was one of the things named. Shopping malls, any places people gather. They specifically named hospitals, so that when people are winning, they got nowhere to go. And it's kind of like, that dispersionary tactic where somebody causes an event and it's all set up just so they can ambush law enforcement. Stuff like that. Nasty. This is how terrorism acts. This is how terrorism operates. We've let too much stuff come into our country unvetted. Yeah, we probably need immigrants for work, but you need to vet who comes in the country. That's been my whole issue. We need to vet who comes in so we know what we're dealing with. You need to check and make sure they're not bringing tuberculosis or some other crazy infectious disease in. Do we do any of that? No. Y'all come. They just let everybody in the border. And now they're fighting us when we want to get some of them out. Oh, yeah. This whole thing with ICE, the ICE protest. What was it? The governor of Illinois has basically said, oh, well, they're the the ICE is attacking, and Trump's guards are attacking U.S. citizens. Well, we're not really attacking anybody. What we're doing is we're trying to run a deportation exercise, and the protests are trying to thwart it, and we're just trying to clear the way so that the ICE agents can do the job that the public elected Trump to do. That was the main number one issue, but they want to thwart that as much as possible. It's like, okay, they want to let the criminals in. Once you get them in, they want to keep them in. They want to defund law enforcement. They want to take away your means of self-defense. Is it just me, or is this crazy? If you think all that stuff is good, put a one in the chat room. If you think all that stuff is crazy, put a two in the chat room. I'd like to see what y'all think about that, because I'm having a hard time swallowing that pill. Seems pretty better to me. I just don't buy it. I ain't picking up what they're putting down. But in any event, all this is tied together potentially. Really and truly for, the House of Klaus to get their way, and I still refer to it as that, if you know what I'm talking about. The Forum of the Economic World, which I'm saying backwards, is, even though Klaus is retired, he got it all set in motion. But that wasn't the first organization by a long shot that aimed toward doing the kind of things that they're talking about, the globalist agenda. Remember 2030? How far is that from now? What year did Tony Blair say that everybody was going to have, digital ID? I just covered that over on my channel, Swivelhead News. 2029. Is that before or after 2030? What are they cooking for 2030? Will we even be here 2030? See, my whole supposition is they can't stand for there to be a country full of independent-minded people. So maybe they really want to bring us down hard. I've always feared that was the agenda. So there we are. Oh, we got a nice super chat. Hey, Bill Evans. We need to vet immigrants. Yeah, it's crucial. Spot on. That's been my point. I'm not anti-immigrant. All I've been asking for is vet the people coming in. We should be bringing the kind of people we need. Are you a gang member? Are you a criminal? Are you a member of a sleeper cell? Are you on the watch list, the terrorist watch list? I got to be careful what I say. Just simple thing. Do you have tuberculosis or some other Ebola? Lord, guys, I mean, what is wrong with doing that? What's wrong with vetting people? Oh, no, we got to throw the borders wide open so they can come in as fast as they can. Anybody and everybody. And that's okay. And when they get in, we will give them all these benefits. You know what the Democrats, one of the big things they're holding up the budget over? They want to be able to give Medicare to illegal aliens. If you think they should give Medicare to illegal aliens, if you think that's a great idea, the way to spend your tax money, put a 3 in the chat room. If you think that's an awful way to spend your tax money, put a 4 in the chat room. I'd like to know what you guys think about it. we're $33 trillion in debt. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. We've hit that magic 33 number just about. We're just about $33 trillion in debt. Is this where the wheels come off the train? I think I mentioned previously that one of the big economists, historians, came out and said that when a nation falls, they cease to exist when their interest on their debt is greater than what they spend on the military. We're there. We're there. And we have a huge shortage in arms. Huge shortage in arms today because we've been playing whack-a-mole with the Houthis and defending the Israelis and giving stuff to Ukraine. So who gains the most by the Russo-Ukrainian war? Who profits the most? I would submit China. Why? Because we've been highly distracted. Our inventories of armaments have gone way down. Now, indeed, Trump has just called for us to make increased production of these about 3 or 4-fold. We don't really have the manpower probably to pull it off. You got to gear up factories. We probably don't even have the manpower to build all these factories coming in. What did I call for the day? I said, we've got to invest in robotics the same way China's done for the same reasons, as we need robotic factories just to build the armaments to defend ourselves against those guys over there who were doing just that. Oh, yeah, they got a new robotic factory now that's totally robotic, not the one I mentioned about the one that makes, excavators, and it runs in the dark. They don't need to have lights on for robots. Not those now. There are some robots that may use visual systems, but apparently those don't. So they're saving a little money on the utility bill, I suppose. And probably don't have to keep it at 70 degrees either. So anyway, yep. Distinct info world would. I don't know. I'll have to read that and check it out in a minute. I'll check the chat when I'm done with the main news here. So for the people drinking their coffee in the morning, getting ready to go to work, I'm going to try to hit the news front, and then we'll go through the chat room. So that's my guarantee to you is news first. Speaking of coffee, I got to have something to get me through this cast. Then I got to hit the hay early and get up early. I got a rooster to pick up early in the morning before I start my early job. Got a rooster to get. All right. Yeah, I got hens coming in tomorrow too from a different source. So I will be in chickens tomorrow. What are you doing to prep? What are you doing to get ready? Seriously, I'm doing everything I can. What are you doing? You need to think about it. Tell us in the chat room. I moved to my bug out location. I got my rainwater collection set up, although it's doing a little Spartan right now, but I'm working on it. Got my solar power. I'm off grid, 100% off grid. What are you doing? If you can only buy another bag of beans and rice, you'll do that. So let's get back into the news here. I'm going to show you some articles to kind of reinforce what I'm saying, kind of maybe prompt me in case I forgot to tell you about something. But the whole world is tense. The whole world is at a razor's edge. The whole world is on the precipice of war. We're talking world war. Oh, yeah, Laroff, he was warning, he's the minister, he's the foreign minister of Russia. And he is warning, well, he was saying, well, we don't want war. And, but, if you hit us, we're going to hit you back. But, he actually got pretty mad the other day, which is very uncharacteristic for him. He's usually the tried scholarly statesman. He's been coming up more forcefully. Medvedev is actually, he's always been the bark of dog, war, we'll attack you, we'll nuke you every other day. He actually sounded a little bit more reason in what he was saying, but he was still talking in those terms. So we are, but you got to remember what Russia did before they went into Ukraine. As always, it's just, it's like they're denying all these probing incidents and saying, we don't want to fight you. Well, what did they say before they went into Ukraine? It's just a training exercise. We're not going into Ukraine. Then one day it says, we're going home. It's over. We're going home. And all these people are celebrating, all these pundits. I said, no, they're not. They're going in. Oh, now they're going home. Well, they did go in. Why did I say that? Because it's like this. Uh, some, the amateur strategists talk tactics. The professional strategists talk logistics. When they brought their blood supplies to the border, that was very telling. Very telling. What are we doing? We're doing logistics. We're sending tankers out so that we can support an operation. Are we going to do an operation? It's possible we're not, but the last time we did this, we certainly did. This on the hills are actually preceding this major generals and admirals meeting. You think there's something to that? Yeah. Well, we got forces in the Caribbean, the attack submarine aimed out to the Atlantic, got another nuclear submarine over and that we know about in the Philippines and several around we have no clue about. We got our carriers dispersed around the world right now. Oh yeah, we're ready for something. Whether it happens or not, we're ready for something. So this is time for eyes wide open, head on the swivel if there ever was one. Let's do some article looking here. Yeah, this is a Los Angeles class submarine, the attack submarine, nuclear powered fast attack submarine. That's what the Newport News is, by the way. We'll go back here and you can find, yep, Newport News, Los Angeles class. I'm going to close that article. And we're going to come back over here and we're going to look at President Trump will speak at this hastily called meeting of top military leaders. Told you. That's kind of I figured he would. I kind of figured it was just going to be Hegseth. Yeah, this is top level. The president, the Secretary of War. And they just changed the name of the department to the War Department, Department of War. Does that suggest something? I should have kept that open. Trump's secret military meeting promises more aggression abroad and at home. It may be a good part of this deploying National Guard is to be prepared for what's coming to those areas where we're expecting there may be trouble. Well, we wouldn't expect trouble at home if there's war abroad. Do you know that in Philadelphia, they're flying the Chinese Communist flag over the city hall? Remember Newsom rolled out the red carpet for Xi Jinping and then we're flying Chinese Communist flags on the streets? He went down. Oh, yeah. Newsom passed a law that the feds couldn't wear a mask to hide their identities on ICE. Well, the administration is not going to follow a state law. And I just showed you all these guys that said they wanted to attack ICE members coming out and said, we're going to hunt you down after. We want facial recognition. We want cameras on your face. We want facial recognition because we're going to hunt you down. They actually come out and said that. So you think maybe they got a reason to put a mask on? They're doing the job they were elected that we elected Trump to do. And it's a shame that they got to go through all that to do their job. That's a rough job to have. Anyway, so here we are. Flight trackers. Notice a fleet of nearly a dozen. Well, it's turned out maybe a lot more than that. KC-135RT Strato tankers. Yeah, going to Mildenhall, major Air Force base in England. Well, it's not just the KC-135s either. So, and it's more than a dozen apparently. Here's some of the later news I've seen. And a dramatic and highly visible military maneuver. Trump has deployed over 30 aerial refueling tankers, KC-135s, KC-46 Pegasus aircraft, and from multiple bases to Europe. I say, I'm not kidding you guys. I'm not making this stuff up now. Is it a dozen or is it 30? How many did we send over when we hit on Iran? It's alleged it was 50 according to Trump, but we don't know for sure how many really are. These are the ones that turn their transponders on. Like I said, there's people on the ground saying they're seeing a whole lot of other aircraft. It's not just tankers flying. So how many are really going? We don't know. What else is going? We don't know. What are they going to cover in that meeting tomorrow? We don't know. But what we know is it's very foreboding. All this stuff is happening together at the same time. They may get the generals in the room tomorrow, close the doors, and say the missiles are flying right now. I don't know. I kind of doubt it will be that, but we don't know what's going down. We just don't know. Yeah, well, we're certainly getting the chess pieces in place. Maybe it's like I said, maybe it's just to rattle some chains around the world, get some attention. I bet that's happening. Uh, and maybe it is just a warrior ethos breath. Oh, we all got to be good warriors. We got to be a warrior, turn everything to war. We get, if it ain't about war, we're getting rid of it. Now that's true. That part's true because they're getting rid of a lot of the administrative generals who were sitting there on staff in the hopes that they'd one day get a bigger command or something like that. And it turns out there was a whole lot of them and a lot of other officers that really didn't have a warfare related job. So they're skinning the Department of Defense down. They're claiming they're going to cut the budget in the Department of Defense. As long as they build more ammunition, which they claim they're doing, I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe they will. So we'll look at all that too. Anyway, massive transatlantic military movement. This article says this deployment marks one of the largest single day movements in refueling aircraft in recent history. It may not be up to par with what we did for the Iranian operation, but then again, like I said, we may not know what's being moved. We may not know what all is truly in the air. We just know what's got the transponders on. Keep that in mind. We didn't know, how many aircraft were involved when we went in and bombed Fordo and Isfahan and what was the other facility there in Iran with the B-2 bombers until after the fact. So you think if we got some big top secret thing going on, you really want to know? You think maybe the biggest contingent's going somewhere else. These are going east. There might be more than that heading west or something else. Or maybe they got another wave going because I think they said waves in there, waves of aircraft. It wasn't this article. One of them I saw waves of refueling tankers. So apparently they're not going all at once. They're talking about the Iranian conflict, Trump's power projection, a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. The problem is political messaging and military readiness. Well, it is military readiness. It does have some political messaging, but what's the reality of it? Where's it really going? Here it is. Wave of U.S. tankers to deploy to Europe. Anyway, that's it. Zero Hedge. Everything in Zero Hedge is by Tyler Durden, whether he writes it or not. Tons of articles I've written by other people. OSINT expert on X was talking about it when it was a dozen. Let's see if we can look at this photograph here. There we go. That was one depiction of it. I'm sure y'all have seen that by now. So, hey guys, we got this Frank Holmes guy who apparently called and said that the gold would go up to about $4,000 per troy ounce, which actually it's pretty darn close. He's now saying it's going to go to $7,000. It could because it's just been shooting up like a rocket, like the one they launched last night from Vandenberg Air Force Base with 27 Starlinks. It flew just south of me, and I got a picture of it. The Contra, yeah, big old Falcon 9 rocket. But anyway, that's how gold's going. Yeah. And he's saying silver could hit $100 troy ounce. Holy smoke, guys. I don't know. Now, past performance is not an indicator of future performance. So and I'm not a financial analyst by any shape or fashion. My crystal ball is about as clear. I got one, but I could look in a bucket of tar and see as much in the future as I could through that. So it's not worthy for that. But these are what these guys are saying. A lot of people are saying it's going up. And Some people said, well, we wouldn't want to go up this high, it's going to flatten out. But look here, it's already $3,865.22 per troy ounce, and silver is almost $50. I don't even remember seeing silver that high, 47.21, or gold that high. Wow, guys. So if this is something you want to do, like I said, if the grid goes down, and they're putting us in this digital money, it might be good to have something you can barter. If you got gold you can hold, silver in your pockets, then you've got something you can barter with outside of digital money. So it might have some real value in that perspective. So if you go to defythegrid.com, defythegrid.com, you'll see the links on many of my videos. Hope I get them posted in here and maybe somebody put it in the chat room. You can buy silver, platinum, gold. You can buy it in these rounds. You can buy it in coins. You can buy it. But if you find a better price somewhere else, Defy the Grid says, call us and we'll meet it or beat it. Nobody else makes that claim. They only can make that claim because they operate on about 3 to 4% margin. And out of that, if you use discount code GreenGregs, they'll give you 1% back. And you can get such wonderful things as gold backs or even silver, which is gold printed on a plastic substrate. But it's like you get the smallest denominations of one, and that is 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold. It's the right amount that you could trade it for bread and eggs and just everyday things instead of a gold coin, which you can trade for a car, used to used car, or a gold bar, 10 of which will buy you a mansion today, and probably some nice land to go with it, especially if you buy it in Southeast. So yeah, defythegrid.com, Green Gregs. Now let's go back into some more alarming things here, and that is that Trump apparently is debating sending Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine. To me, that's kind of like the last thing we ought to be doing if we're about to be getting in a war with China. Tomahawk cruise missiles. Wow, these are nuclear capable missiles. If we were planning to launch a nuke war against Russia, do you think maybe we would give a few to Ukraine and let them take the heat up front, and then have ours falling in behind, maybe EMP attack them from a Tomahawk? I don't know. I hope that's not what's cooking right now, but who knows? With some people talking about, some generals talking about taking Kaliningrad, how we could easily take Kaliningrad or all of Russia, and others saying time to hit them is now, since they've had a big earthquake in Kamchatka, taking out a lot of the sub bases, since the big operation Spiderweb that Ukraine pulled off. It took out a number of bombers. Problem is that Russia still has a lot of nukes, a lot of them ready to fly, and they still have the dead hand switch, which means if they're attacked and comms is lost to the nuclear command center, everything launches by default without any humans involved. So if you take out Moscow, you take out Vladimir Putin, it still goes. It still flies. It's the proverbial doomsday machine, straight out of Dr. Strangelove. Wild stuff, guys. I mean, Palantir makes them. Maybe we can take all this stuff out. We got such good intel. Yeah, well, they're having trouble just finding Russian troops in Ukraine. So how are they going to do that? It may sound good on paper, may look good on paper, but the best of plans are lost, upon first contact with the enemy. No plan survives. No good plan survives first contact with the enemy. That's the old adage, right? Anyway, that's why we got to be very careful. This is not something. Yeah, that was actually part of what Medvedev was saying. He was saying, you really don't want this Europe. You don't want to go down this road, because it could escalate and go nuclear. He was actually making a little bit of sense. Anyway, but they're claiming that the Tomahawks won't make much difference inside of Russia. Yeah, don't buy that. I think they're really worried about it, and they're just trying to throw dispersions to disinterest us in going down that road. Tomahawks are very decisive weapons, very precision, and they pack a punch, even when it's conventional. So it would give Ukraine lots deeper reach into Russia. And it's suggested there'll be no holds barred to hit whatever you want. But supposedly Trump is trying to keep America out of it. And so he's going to sell weapons to Europe and then let Europe supply them. That's a pretty thin veil. Pretty thin veil. So he's still trying to maintain some composure, staying out. How long will that last? Why are all the KC-135s heading over there if we're trying to stay out? You see, my friends, there's a lot of questions on the table here. A lot of questions. So, yeah. And here we go. JD Vance. He's telling Russia they got to wake up and accept reality. Basically saying, well, hey, we tried to get you to the peace table. You wouldn't come. He said, we want peace here. We've been actively pursuing peace from the very beginning of the administration, but the Russians have got to wake up and accept the reality here. Is this a warning? Is this like, okay, our hands are clean, so if all mayhem starts now, we tried, we warned you, boom, boom, boom. What do y'all think? I don't know. Yeah. It could be the kind of a preparatory warning. And the former spy chief from MI5 out of Great Britain is saying Russia's waging a new kind of war. We're talking about an asymmetric hybrid warfare of hacking and attacking and blowing up some facilities, but it's in the gray zone type warfare. That they are disrupting communications. They've been going around Europe, especially Great Britain, mapping out all the comms cables and everything undersea. And the idea is that they're probably going to attack all that. So a lot of posturing going on. A lot of posturing. She was one of the ones saying, hey, Russia's already at war with us, just like Russia's been saying we're already at war with them. I think they're probably both right. Anyway, well, why does that mean the U.S. has got to get drug into it? Why are we involved at all? I think we need to be having our eyes on China exclusively. Let Europe take care of Europe. So we're playing into Xi Jinping's hand by serving notice over there. Those guys in Europe should be able to take care of themselves. Quite frankly, they got a GDP that's bigger than the United States. They got more manpower than the United States. Why is Europe taking care of Europe? Why do they need us over there? Why do we need to risk our lives and our homelands for a strip of land in eastern Ukraine that don't even want to be in Ukraine? That's what it boils down to. Do you think it's worth risking your home, your family, your homestead right here in the United States over? If you think it is, put a 7 in the chat room. If you think it's not, put an 8. I really am curious to see if y'all think this is where we should go. Anyway, y'all tell me, what do y'all think? Time for y'all to speak up. Anyway, so Laroff is, been talking to guys. So yeah, they're saying World War III isn't Russia's plans right now. I'm seeing all 8 so far. Yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to risk our terra firma right here. Oh, we got some. Anton thinks we need to go full war. Well, Anton, have you volunteered to go there and fight yet? Anyway, check. All these guys are jumping at this war stuff. I'm not going to read that article. It get me too much trouble. But this is where Laroff is talking. I mentioned that earlier. I've already talked it, saying I'm just letting you guys know that this is really out there. What's interesting, though, is Ukraine has been really hitting the oil refining, gas refining stations in Russia. And so now there's long lines for petrol. And the Russians are getting antsy about it. They're having hard times getting gasoline. They've got long lines at the pumps, and more of these stations are getting hit. So it's going to make it a lot harder. So there is probably some growing discontent inside of Russia. It's been said that 1 million Russians have been either wounded or taken out. The number that we believe to be pushing daisies as a result of this war is now 250,000 after, 3 years of hard combat, real hard combat. Yeah, which that's a lot more than we lost in Vietnam. But that's that's almost what we've lost due to that drug that came in from China called I call it F-ball. It ends in enol and starts with fent, if you know what I'm talking about. Almost as many people as we've lost from that. And God knows how many have lives whacked out and destroyed. How many are didn't pass away but got other problems as a result of that stuff. Oh yeah, and they just interdicted a big shipment of cocaine. So big they claim to take like 42 dump trucks to move it. It says enough to kill every American. Yeah, this is why maybe part of why we were down in Venezuela, but Venezuela isn't the primary conduit of that. I'm telling you, there's something bigger there, and I think it's because Venezuela is involved with China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And that's what I've been saying all along. And so they're using the drug wars cover for some other operation. That's my suspicion. Anyway, yeah, if y'all agree with me that it must be something more, I like to see a 10 in the chat room. If you don't think so, put a 9 in. Anyway, but they're saying that even despite Russia's mounting economic woes that I just talked about, they're still provoking Europe for some strange reason. Why? I think it's still got to do with China. Yeah, here we are. These MiG-31s penetrated deeper. I said Latvia, Estonian airspace. Pardon me, guys. I never had a brain lock when I said that, so I was paused. Now, this lady almost got it. She almost got it. One of the first and the few that almost got the right answer. At least she asked the right question. What's China's motivation to keep the Russia-Ukraine war going? Do they have a motivation for this? You bet your bottom dollar. She suddenly asked the question somebody hadn't seen in the media in a long time. So I've been talking about for a long time. What is China's motivation? Is China motivated for this? Oh, yeah. So finally, this lady named Virginia Allen wrote an article on it. The only problem with her article is she missed it. She thinks it's all because China can't afford for Russia to lose. Then why are you promoting them being in the war in the first place? China can't afford for Russia to lose. You got to be kidding me. First of all, if Russia is defeated, China will be left alone to be dealt with a Western count. And she's quoting somebody else, some other wag, talking, oh, yeah, Russia and Ukraine, this guy named Su, how you pronounce his name. So, yeah, he's from Taiwan. My friends, here it is. Zhu Chin Su, I can't pronounce that. The National Security Council of Taiwan. So she's quoting him. So she didn't even come up with the original material. She got to quote this guy. And yeah, I think it's connected to Taiwan, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. The whole thing is she's missed the point. It causes us to expend our munitions. So fighting China is far more difficult. It causes us to be distracted so that maybe we can't bring full forces to bear if China makes a move on Taiwan. Were any of these two bigger, more important points mentioned in this article? No. That's why you come listen to Green Greg's. Here's this probably highly paid journalist here working for the Daily Signal, and she totally missed the point. Lack of imagination, lack of scholarship, lack of understanding of geopolitics, lack of understanding of military strategy. But she is good to write an article for everybody to believe, which represents this organization called the Daily Signal, which ought to know better. Wow. What should he go to AI and ask, why are they over there? Well, she did quote this guy, but he probably knows the real answer, Su Chin Hu, but maybe he didn't want to tell it. But she didn't have the courage or the knowledge to be able to expand beyond that. Like I said, this is why you come to Green Greg's. Who else tells you this stuff? Anyway, wow. I've been talking about that way back. And some other channels are starting to pick up on that message, but you've been hearing it here for a long time. Well, here it is. Pentagon orders factories to crank up production, fearing war with who? China. Now, a lot of us remember that supposedly there was this memo on Hex's desk claiming that the United States military was going to refocus away from China and just focus on this hemisphere. That we were going to kind of give up that part of the world and focus here. Now, and maybe this operation in Venezuela was to try to make it look as if that's what we're doing. But if that's all we're doing, why do we want Bagram Air Force Base so bad? Why are we putting so much munitions down Subic Bay in the Philippines? Why do we put that submarine over? Why are the KC-135s and the KC-46s flying to Europe right now? Why are we bringing generals from all over the world in for a big powwow? Methinks it might be bigger than just looking in our hemisphere. Unless we're telling them, y'all coming home. If we're going to tell them y'all coming home, why are we trying to get Bagram Air Force Base? Why are we trying to put all this stuff in Subic Bay? What's that all about? Yeah. See, it's, there's this watch what I say and watch what I do. And if you really want to know what somebody's doing, watch what they're doing, not what they're saying. We're saying one thing, we're doing something else. Well, if we're going to say it, we need to be a little bit more discreet about what we're doing in the other theaters, other aspects. If we are being discreet, then what the heck are we actually doing? You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm thinking, however you shake it, something big is going down. It may not be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Might not even be this year. But we're getting ready for something huge. And that's why they're telling them to crank up production in these factories, as if they got enough time, as if they actually can do it. Some don't think they can do it. Here is the CEO of Ford Motors warning that there's a dearth of blue-collar workers able to construct AI data centers and operate factories, nothing to backfill the ambition. He's saying, we don't have the manpower to get there. Now, this is in Forbes, which means it was going to pop this up and keep me upset. This was coming from the CEO of Ford Motor Company. He said, I can't find enough people to run my factories, let alone do anything else. So how are we going to ramp up like this article suggests? Yeah, you bring in a lot of immigrants which don't have the skill sets for this necessarily. Probably not. You might can train them for some of it, but I would say we're going to have to put in some. We're going to have to put in some robotics. That's the only way out. We're going to have to copy China. We need to send somebody over to China and steal their knowledge for a change. They've been stealing ours for decades. So we need to know how to build these factories. Yeah, so what I said, this article on Fox News suggested, they won't let China won't let Trump take Bagram Air Force Base back from the Taliban without a fight. So, I'll go figure. Is that true? Yeah, this is an article I don't want to show. Show me a bunch of, want me to watch a video. I like that kind of stuff, but anyway, it's got a couple more news articles here. And there was this Gaza peace plan. Netanyahu agreed to it. Remember, I talked about it just a couple of nights ago on Swivelhead News. What do we got popping up here? Something oddball popping up. Get ready for what? Yikes, I'm trying to move my thing here so I can kill this screen. Bang, there we go. I don't know what it's trying to do to me. Yeah. I hate it. Oh, what's this article? What this thing's doing? But anyway, they made a peace plan agreement. There it is. Now we got it back. Netanyahu went along with it, but instead of a 21-point plan, it's a 20-point plan. I think I'll do a video where I go into it more in depth, just some aspects of this. But you know who's intimately involved in this? Tony Blair. What's Tony Blair's son doing? He is the guy who runs the company that's setting up the digital ID for the United Kingdom. Makes you wonder. You need to go watch my video to understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to go all into it here because I've already went all into it right here. Ice Wars, Digital ID, and Antichrist. This is on my Swivelhead News channel. If you've not seen this video, go to my Swivelhead News channel. I got a link to this video in the community, or now the post tab. They used to call it community tab here on my channel. So go in and watch this video. It is sobering. It is sobering. Just talking about it made my stomach churn. I'll be honest, I had a hard time doing this video tonight. I really had to. I think that's bringing this news to you guys. It's getting so awful. It just hurts to think about it and talk about it. It's just getting sickening. But anyway, yeah, go over and check that video out. See what's significant about this stuff. I'll probably do another video on this topic, which will be a little more not so down into this topic area here, just talking about it from a strategic standpoint. And the next day or two, yeah. You might want to stay tuned for that because it's also compelling. But this whole fitting in this treaty thing kind of sounds like something out of the Book of Revelations, maybe. Something that Hal Lindsey may have warned us about in his book, Late Great Planet Earth, that he wrote in 1970, which I read only a couple of years later. Yeah, I've been into this stuff for a long time. So we got this government shutdown coming. Apparently, it's going to happen because the Democrats and the Republicans can't agree. The good news is if you're drawing Social Security and some of this stuff, you can expect the payments to keep coming. But a lot of government services will be shutting down. Not the military, not essential, critical services. Yeah, the military is going to keep rocking now. Some of the contractors may be shutting down. And Trump wants to take advantage of this just to shut down and fire entire agencies if he can. So this whole thing, the Democrats may blow up. Oh, what I haven't pulled up, I don't think, is there's an article claiming that the Democrats are taking a stand they're taking because they're being funded by some dark NGO to do that. Well, I guess that NGO wants more of the NGO money that they were getting under the previous administration. It was cut out, maybe part of it. I got something else to talk to you guys about too. All right, is this article come up or not? Here it is. Drug Task Force seized 1,000,000 pounds of cocaine. Denying cartels and narco terrorists $11 billion. Enough to fill 42 dump trucks. That's just mind-boggling. And Fox News is sending everybody to subscribe like all these other channels. Used to not do that. Getting be aggravating. I ain't got time to log in 40 times. If I was going to do that and do a newscast, it would take me time to wake up to bring it all at you. That's crazy. Anyway, well, here's the earthquakes in front of us. As usual, a lot of stuff's rocking in the Indonesia area. That's Papua New Guinea in this case. 5.0. Kamchatka's been rocking quite heavily. 5.5. And we got a little dancing going on there in Puerto Rico, 2.6. But over here in the Juan de Fuca Plate, we got a couple of earthquakes. Brandon, Oregon, 3.3. Put a bigger one right here if I can click it. Let me get my finger on it. There we go. Let's see. There we go. 4.0. And Alaska's always got a bunch of them. Denali National Park, 3.6. I hear in the Aleutians or the Panhandle. Sandpoint, 3.0. So we get back off. You can see the ring of fire is shaking. Now, if we go to space weather. So I just saw a big rocket launch. And that's what the aurora looks like right now. It's calmed down a little bit since I was looking at this earlier. So my friends up in Fort Greely, Alaska, and Fairbanks probably had a real good view tonight. Some major good aurora borealis. And there's no major sunspots, no major CMEs, but it looks a lot like CME. And they're saying the reason for it is just the way the sun and the earth aligns during the equinoxes makes the earth's magnetic field more susceptible to energy from the sun. That's interesting. So I guess these things are more typical around the equinox, especially when the sun is somewhat active, which it is right now. It's got quite a number of sunspots, none real big, but quite a number. These could blow up. That's still turning at us right there. Cross your fingers and hope it don't get ugly. So if you want to look at asteroids, there was a whole bunch of them that came in close that within Earth, Moon space in the last few days. We always seem to find them after they go by. There was one we just had a near miss, but we'll be tracking it in the future. The most recent one was just a couple days ago now, since now it's already tomorrow. Since I started this video, came in just outside the orbit of the geosynchronous satellites, and this one was 10 meters in size, 1.8 kilometers per second. So turns out that was the closest. Well, let's see. Yeah, no, there was one closer up here, two of them closer, but they were small ones, 2 meters. Could have been rocket parts left over in that case that came by on the 24th of September. That one halfway between the geosynchronous satellites and Earth, and that one pretty close to the geosynchronous satellites. What's the geosynchronous satellites? An satellite that makes an orbit exactly once every 24 hours. So it looks like it's looking at the same point over Earth at all times. That way you can have stable communications to it. It's always there. It takes a little longer than the lower Earth satellites. You got to put a big constellation like Starlink to manage that, so you got to be launching satellites all the time. It's like yesterday, the one that came over last night, just south of me. So yeah, Arizona got a good view of that launch. Anyway, so much. Let's see. Maybe we should go click on one of these and go look at the big questionable object. Let's look at the alien intruder. Let's search for 3 AT. Oh, my shift key is not working, guys. So maybe I needed to be able to make it capless. So I hit my cap locks key, it might work. 3I. ATLAS. What am I doing wrong here? Did this the other day. Shoot, can't get the capital. Shift key. There we go. Now maybe I need the space bar. 3I. Let's try that. It's actually got another name, but last time I looked, oh, thought that in. Now let's see what it does. Let's go in there. I don't know. That's the actual name of it right there. A little data. What do we know about it? You gonna tell us the diameter? Yeah, they're having trouble figuring the diameter of this thing out. All right, so let's go to Orbit Viewer. Let's have a look at what this guy's doing. This thing. Whoops. Scroll up. They say it's about to go behind the sun real soon. We'll be able to see it for a bit. So I'll blow all this up. About this thing. There's somewhere on there. Everybody got to move this. There we go. Now, let's see if I can step in a little closer. Whoa, she's right behind Mars right now. Right behind Mars. So we're over here. Mars and this object are right here. So she will disappear shortly behind the sun. We won't be able to see it for a while. Then it come back out, hopefully, going the same speed, heading out to Jupiter's orbit out here. It's Mars's orbit, Jupiter, and all the asteroids are out here. So there it is again, my friends. 3I Atlas, or C2025 N1. All right. Let's see if I can escape this view. And we're going to stop the share. So much controversy about that. I thought y'all liked seeing that. Anyway, all righty. The official news part of this broadcast is over. I am going to look at the chat room for a little bit, and I got to hit the head. I got to put a thumbnail up for this, which I've already created it, and I've got this time, and I've got to put some notes in the chat stuff. It takes a little while. It usually takes me an hour or two to go to bed after I do a video. And I got to be at a place to pick this rooster up at 6:30 in the morning. All right. Oh, we got a lot of chat tonight. How many we got in the room? 170. Looks like, wow, that's good. Jason, New Days. Cha-Cha, good to see you, Cha-Cha. Tiffany, the backstory. So, civil defense prepping. Should I pay October? Should I pay October bills? Yeah, probably, because it might not happen. This stuff may not happen. Let's pray that it don't happen. Should I max out credit cards? No. You only do that if you know the grid's going down really good. I don't know. That's iffy. That's something Nate talks about over Canadian Prepper. Max out your credit cards. Yeah. Well, if you really need stuff to prep, your survival on it might depend on it, but you make sure you can pay them off if things don't go south. Paying off credit cards is rough. I'm here to tell you. Last two bangers were Marines meeting in Quantico once. I don't know. That sounds crazy. What about this thing that happened up with that Mormon church that got attacked? Man, it looks like that church was set on fire. That's awful. Anyway, Arnold Smith is frightening. Didn't they say that once before? Jesse, how you doing? Trump has said some weird things lately. That's true. That's true. And why is that? Ukraine just hit with a 12-hour area barrage. Wow. Yeah, it's just hard. Yeah, the news happens so fast. I'm trying to get everything together and start aggregating to make a story, but stuff is happening even as we're talking. Civil defense prepping. The banger at Southport, North Carolina, was an ex-Marine. I'm using the word banger so it don't trip the algorithm. The algorithm has no rhythm. That's sad. But just because you're a Marine don't mean you're conservative. Yeah, I knew some liberal people when I was in the Army. Army has a way of changing their attitude, though. I mean, you say this socialism ain't what's cracked up. But if you're smart, you'll get that when you're in the military. I might have some coffee here in a minute. Wouldn't be surprised if people were hit by one of these lawsuits, dozens of defendants. Oh, one other thing I wanted to bring up. I should have mentioned this in the newscast part. The socialist organizations in this country, they got a big plan for the unions. Most of them are tied up in unions. They got this thing called salted companies. They're trying to get people implanted in these companies that are non-union to make them vote union. So you get more and more companies go union. But really, the group backing this is there's several socialist groups in this country that's backing this. And I heard a snippet of that today over on Next News Network with Gary Frenchie. You might go looking for that. It's pretty sobering to see what they're considering. Apparently, they're planning a big move on May Day, May the 1st. Well, I just tell you about May Day over on that Soilhead News Channel video. May Day. It's a big day for socialists and communists. So go look at that. And May Day of, I think 2028, sir, aim point. 2028 or 2029, I think it's 2028. So think about that, guys. We got all kind of mayhem that may be going on. They want the whole country to go into strike. Everything. Total nationwide strike to bring everything down. Is that interesting? Oh, yeah. And they talked about Maoism. Big supporters of Chairman Mao. What did the Beatles sing about that? No. You're a supporter of Chairman Mao, don't come around anyhow, or something like that. Even the Beatles wasn't a fan of it. Anyway, Something going on with jarheads lately? Good question. You get a fish in that jarhead. Well, I got one up here next door to me. He's a good guy. Actually came down here today and helped move my chicken building. So within Belarus, Lukashenko has threatened Poland if they shoot down any drones or Russian jets with full-scale war. So that's just it. We got a lot of people with fingers on triggers now. It's just going to be too easy to slide into World War III. Too easy. Too easy. Jesse, how you doing? Anyway, I'm surprised that no lip readers got nothing from what I said to Trump last week. What you said to him? Wow. Were you there, Tom? Too many crayons. Oh, Lord. Zelensky is getting rich off this nonsense. Yeah. Unfortunately. That's one reason, good reason to have an election over there in my office. August 1, the spokesperson Saint Germain announced that several military satellites will be reducing their upload-download feeds to civilian internet. Means the military is taking a bigger part of the spectrum. That's what that means. Basic, most civilians are on, we're on their own. We're on our own, guys. That's what I've been warning you. When it goes down, don't expect no cavalry to come save you. I said, it's like you're in a big game of musical chairs. When the music stops and you got to sit down, what you got's all you got. So I tell you to prep, get ready. It would have been nice to have had the administrative staff and judges to clear those immigrant backlogs. Got all those folks at least in the system. Problem is, there's just too many of them they can't process. There's so many. The glut is unmanageable. I was letting too many. Pilots will speak about air traffic drones and hijacking. Aircraft tracking software from the ability to the public to send. Yeah, all you're gonna see is the ones that want you to send. That's all you're gonna see. Here in Bay County, we got a big Russian guy. Hey, doesn't keep my nurse prepper. I think I'm out of coffee. Yeah, one little drop. A little tea. I gotta get up early. I went to the Viking Festival in San Diego a week ago. Oh, drop that. And it was the size of a football field for 2 to 3, 15 to 20 sheriffs working. 20 to 20. Yeah, Vikings ain't gonna cause me trouble these days. Got so many sheriffs working that. That would have been fun to went to. I need to go one of them myself. Dress up in some Nordic gear. All right, I'll fit right in. Folks here about the call to do 8 p.m. minute of noise nationwide nightly. Oh, what is that all about? Reptoid? Tell me about it. All these politicians are aiding the illegal should be charged with accessory to crimes they commit. There you go. Hey, what about these judges that have been playing catch and release with these guys that go out and commit heinous crimes after they've been committed so many crimes? They prove they're career criminals and they just keep turning them loose. Yeah, they're turning these crazies loose on us. And that's the end of my tea. Well, I should have brought 2 cups of coffee up here tonight to do this. Yikes. All righty. I was in jamming. Good to see you in the house. Anton, yeah, Jenna, Spy La 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 2030. It's another way to look at it. Spy ain'ts. Let's see. Actually, how would it say? Oh yeah, they don't say it's spy ain'ts. 20 is Swanseas. So it'd be, I think that you do the other number first. How do they do this? Ain't Swanseas? I don't know. I forget. Auf Deutsch. 21. Yeah. Ich verstehe nicht. Let's see. Dungarian. We take up too much water and energy, Greg, plus land. Think of the AI power farms that they build. 20 million of us weren't around. Oh, you think that's why they won't get rid of us? Turn it all into AI farms. The world could handle a lot more of us. We could live in harmony with the world. Go look at my videos in universal habitat. You could live a really nice life with zero footprint in the universal habitat. For all your food. I hope to build one out here. Hopefully I'll have enough money to or come up with it to do it. I don't know. Right now I'm struggling to put a well in though. I don't know if I can pull it off or not. You will own nothing and be happy. That's what they tell us. It's kind of hard to believe. Oh, yeah, but also you'll have no privacy. Remember that part? Go back and look at my video I just mentioned over on that I put on Swivel Head News. The very last thing, our very last live session. Go to Swivel Head News, click live, and look at the one on digital ID and the Antichrist. Yikes. Medicare and Medicaid. I don't know. I get them mixed up. I get them mixed up. Something like that. Oh, come on, folks. Please listen to what Greg's saying and don't read into it. Oh, somebody reading into it. The whole point is that we are taking and giving our tax money to illegal aliens. That's the point. No H-1B visas. There you go. Trump's charging $100,000 per visa now. Yes, the only exception we should make is for robotic specialists. After we vet and make sure they're not members of some spy network or sleeper cell network, not on our watch list. Our Epstein info. I suppose Epstein is the new name for Epstein. Yeah, a lot of stink in that department. Everyone, don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you, Jesse. They'll start a war before they release the files. That may be what's going on here. That may be it, Arnold. Schmidt. Oh no, I'll say that. Oh, it's Jason Schmidt said, not Arnold. Pardon me. Jason Smith. Well, you'll put comments right side by side. You same last name. I gotta wonder if y'all brothers. Y'all Schmidt brothers. Probably never met each other except in the chat room, right? Saw the writing on the wall. We moved to my bug out location 15 years ago. Ready, come what may. New days. You are on top of it. And she also gardens extensively. She grows a lot of food in a small space way up in Maine. I was doing a video talking about stuff you grow on a tenth of an acre. Somebody put it in the chat. Oh, it's not possible. I live up in Connecticut. There's no way. New Days popped in and says, I do it. And she does. All right, Greg, do you see any chance things will calm down and turn around for the better? Well, you can always hope and pray. But right now, the direction is going the wrong way. Big time. We'll know a lot more tomorrow. Maybe by rattling the sabers enough, it'll scare the other rats and they'll all run and hide and things will calm down. But there's not much sign of it yet. It's really looking bleak. I'm hoping that things do go for the better. I really do. But you guys, y'all need to start praying for it. Seriously. Plain reality. Babylon is far bigger than just one country. Probably. Maybe 3i. Will send some probes come down, broker peace on Earth. Maybe that's why it's coming when it is. I don't know. Either that or the demonic takeover. Maybe the demons that are cast down. Let's see. We got Huck Finn in the house. National Training Center, Joint Readiness Training Center, Railhead Operations, Port Maneuvers, Prep Bow for Deployments. You know, and the character that Huck Finn was based on, how Tom Sawyer became a sheriff. That's a fact. He was based on a real guy, real character. Can't remember his name. He actually became a sheriff. Civil defense prepping. If anyone wants to disappear and go somewhere isolated, Trista de Cunha in the Atlantic Ocean is very isolated. And Petrarian Island. Okay. There you go, folks. If y'all want to get super isolated, U.S. Air Force missile detection aircraft heading to Asia. Ooh. Oh, what I say? Maybe stuff going the other way. Tiffany, how you doing? Alamir Jensen. Well, hello there from our Nordic lands. We start pulling all of our equipment to the U.S., deploy them around the country. You know, we may have to. The UN New Order of the World is dragging us into World War III. That's what they want. All right, how much chat room I got down here? I may have to speed this up. And remain prepare for the worst and pray for the best. Amen. All right. Yeah, it's getting really late. I got to hit the hay, guys. Y'all been doing some good show. We still got, oh, that's how many messages I got now. That's not the chat. How many people I got in the room here? Show me different metrics than what it's normally showing me. So I can pull it up right here. That's the right pane. Let me see. How many folks we got in the chat room? Oh, we got a super chat from Cha Cha. Thank you for your hard work. Some coffee. Salute to you, Cha Cha. Thank you very much. Oh, we got 177 watching. That is awesome. We got a good crowd tonight in the house. 177. Cha Cha just gave us a nice super chat. Thank you, Cha Cha. We've always appreciated you. You're a lovely person. You've always been a good supporter. I know you've been through a lot of stuff yourself lately. So seeing you giving is quite a blessing. Thank you. Quite a blessing. Salute, Cha Cha. All righty. So, let's see, tell a different set of learning morals and social skills. Okay, Arnold, there you go. Russia also have their train, sir. Yeah, they do. Russia's economy is in rough shape too. I blame Nixon for opening up China. Well, at the time, it seemed like a good idea because China was really kind of weak, but they were the soft underbelly of Russia, and we felt like we needed an ally. We needed to flip that now. They had Russia as an ally against China, but we lost our opportunity. Something I called for a long time ago. We drove the bear into the dragon's lap, and I blame us for that stupid lack of coherent, visionary foreign policy. And if we'd done it early enough, Russia never would have invaded Ukraine to start with. But a certain party in our country really was rattling a lot of sabers toward Russia, blaming Russia for a lot of stuff. And they saw the handwriting on the wall. I'm not saying two wrongs don't make a right, but, you know, that's a big part of why they went in. So, all right. Everybody keep your chat clean, whatever you say. Every question. Everybody seems to have memory hold. What's wrong with their memory? The radioactive shrimp. Oh, I've been planning to talk about that, man. Yeah, well, they're finding more and more radioactive shrimp. We got all kind of product issues on the market today. All kind of nasty stuff, guys. So you got to really watch what you buy. You're way better off to grow your own food, and you're better off at just the everyday products you use, like shampoo and soap and stuff like that. If the food's that contaminated, they're not even look at these other products. I used to use all these different brand name lotions because my hands would be getting dry. And I started reading what was on them. I just quit using them. I got something I do use now. More on that in the future. I found a way to get around some of this nasty stuff. But, grow your own food. Go to True Leaf Market, buy the seeds. Go back and look at my old videos on how to grow a garden without going to the store. You don't need to know that stuff to survive when the grid goes down. Those videos ain't got near enough eyes on them. You guys need to be watching them. Anton, I can't fight a war. I get spina bifida. Oh, well, don't be sending other people to war if you ain't up to it. Oh, we got two Antons in the house. Anton Smith and Anton wears a skirt. Are y'all related? Are y'all the same person? Or kilt? Pardon me. Nothing wrong with wearing a kilt. Scots who wore kilts are manly. Guy's helping me out here. He wears a kilt. And he's pretty darn manly. Very much. So much so he's got 13 kids. He got his own Scottish clan. Anyway, not a question what I'm that person in this country signed a deal under Bill Clinton with Ukraine. Yeah, we did. That's true. Uh, it wasn't honored, but there's some other mitigating factors going on. I have to do some research. There's some other mitigating factors. But we're apparently backing them up. And you will China invades. Yeah, we could all be fighting, whatever your physical ailments may be. You know how to hide behind a blade of grass? Carry a nug, go bang bang. Nugs bark, they bark loud. Bang bang, that's how they bark. But you have to feed them kibbles. They have kibbles to bark. Jason North Korea. Yeah, it is, when you look at who's arming who, it is basically a world war. It's just everybody ain't shooting at each other yet. Just mostly going on Ukraine. Although there's North Koreans in there, there's apparently been some Chinese. Yeah. Yeah, we're on a slippery slope, guys. Let's see. Goodness, I haven't caught you live since I retired from night shift a year ago. Well, hey, Ginger Texan. All righty. Well, back then I still lived in Alabama, but I was already starting to move out here. In fact, I started working this place. I was out here the last half of 2023 working on this place. WKG Lawn Care. Just came across your video. Love you, brother. Well, hey, glad you found us. Subscribe. Bang the bell and click off. Need more subscribers. Hopefully get you in the notice for the next few videos. But you need to come back and check the channel from time to time. Make sure you're still subscribed and make sure they haven't neglected to show you the videos that are supposed to show you when you subscribe. Plain reality, the 400 billion data center future of ruling humanity won't slow down. Well, I'm gonna tell you, the AI isn't quite what it's cracked up to be. I should cover that in a future video. It will become that way one day, but not as fast as some of them think. Small M flares. That should push us to KP7. Well, Jesse, what I'm hearing is it's got to do with the alignment of the magnetic field of Earth with the magnetic field of the sun due to our equinox. That's what they're claiming. Yeah, but we certainly have had some major solar flares. Now, Jesse Talbert is the guy who really studies that stuff. He's part of the electrical universe theory. All right, we got Mendelik. Appreciate your content. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that compliment. So share my videos because this platform tries to stomp me down as much as it can. Whoops, I hit the wrong stuff trying to scroll through here. I don't know how fast I'm going on this. When I scroll on my phone, I don't know what percentage down the list I am. I should have done it all on the computer. Oh, yeah. JoJo. Cha-cha. Ginger Texan. Still listening from South Texas. We're at in South Texas. F-Credit. Hey there, JoJo. Stop spending is the best way to drive up your credit card score. There you go. Stop spending. That's good advice. Tim Casper, how you doing, buddy? Vegas in the house. Okay, George. Sasquatch man, good to see you here. Just trying to get through the chat here. Some of it. A lot of it tonight. Y'all gotta get some rest. Yeah, I need to. Doesn't really matter what happens. Things are going to get so much more difficult for us all just to live, prepare for sustained hardships always possible. Well, plain reality, that is really the best advice. Peppermint Patty. Guys, that's really the best advice. Be prepared for whatever comes. There's a lot of bad, even if it's just bad weather, prepping helps when it hits. Check something here real quick. Prepping helps when that mess hits. And we know that. I've been through it. I've had, when I lived in Alabama, the darn tornadoes, we had our power knocked out for a week on one occasion. So it's always something to watch out for. So let me come back and open this thing up again. But there's just so much tension in the world. There's more tension here at home than there's probably been since the war between the states. And I would submit, I think it's worse now than it was then. Trust me, I was around. I'm that old. Anyway, there is, so we got so much domestic tension. We've got international, the whole world's on fire. It's crazy. It's like a powder, the world is like a ginormous powder keg with 20 fuses lit heading into the keg. Oh, good night, JoJo. Ooh-wee. Stock up. Amen. I'm going to try to scroll through this a lot faster here. So I got to hit the hay. Batman. That was timed out. Uh-oh. Batman. That was some advice from the microgreens grower, worm farmer, rocket scientist. Grow your own food unless you're a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. So yes, and I am growing food out here. And I'm gonna work to make it a better operation next year. I've recorded a video, another walkthrough. I'll probably post it the next day or two. You guys need to watch it, but those kind of videos do so poorly these days. They actually mess up my algorithms. So that kind of content needs to go on another platform, another channel. That is, I need to start another channel for homesteading. Drive slower, folks. The moose, deer, and moving. Insurance companies are charging the coverage. Yeah, you don't want to hit a moose. Oh my God, moose legs. Moose's body's up about yay high over your hood, and the legs are about that big around. I don't know how they keep their hooves warm, especially up in Alaska when it's like 60 and 80 below. The moose do just fine. But you hit a moose, and that thing is heavy. You hit them legs, that moose is going in the cab of your vehicle. It's going to be in your lap. And trust me, you don't want that. And I'm going to tell you nothing about a moose. No moose will walk up the side of the road and watch you driving at it. They'll just sit there and watch you. As soon as you get up close, it's going to step out in front of you. That's what a moose does. Every time. Oh my gosh, it's worse than a chicken crossing the road. It waits till you get right up there to step out in front, and then it's going to step out. It's like it's daring you. And you do not want to hit that moose. If the road's got ice on them, you're going to have a hard time stopping or slowing down. So here's what you do, especially when you're up north where you got a lot of ice and you got meese. Well, plural, if mouse is if mice went moose meese, right, for plural. You slow down way ahead of getting to that moose. And when you get up that moose, just stop. Let him walk across the road in front of him or her. What's he going to do it anyway? You just sneak up on it. When you get there, you just stop and let it cross the road. That's what I did when I lived in Alaska. Woo-wee. Yes, sir. You do not want to get in a battle with a moose with your car. It will not work well for you, I promise. Moose are the dumbest and angry at me. Oh, they get angry. More people, meese. Cha-Cha's laughing. The deadliest animal in Alaska is not a grizzly bear, it's a moose. Seriously. Just like the deadliest animal in Africa is hippopotamus. It's not a lion, it's hippopotamus. The deadliest animal in Alaska is a moose. Do not mess with a moose. No messy to meesy. Or you be torn a piecey. Anyway, yeah, I like to play with words sometimes. All righty. I think we're done. I got the bottom of the chat, although I skipped a few. But who else tries to read all the chat, especially when you got a long chat? Nobody. I'm probably a nut for doing it. They quit. It's killing me. Late hours. But I love you guys. That's why I do it. I love you guys. We're family. But it's really killing me. I'm going to have to probably cut back on that. I don't even know how to, really. So accustomed to doing that. But yeah, a lot of people just look at, occasional sporadic messages. So, all right, we've been online how long now? 96 minutes. Yeah, I'm tired. Peppermint Patty. I love that name. So, Peppermint Patty, do you have freckles? I got freckles. Not as many as I used to have when I was a kid. But I was going 15 miles an hour under the speed limit, hit my first deer, have half a century worth of driving experience. Yeah. Well, see, it was too fast even then. You gotta watch out for the deer. Up here, we gotta watch out for elk. Mule deer are bigger than whitetails we had back home. And the elk, oh yeah. But ain't nothing worse than a moose if you want to hit it. And I tell you, no cow moose is one of the ugliest darn animals I ever saw in my life. Sorry. They just look rough. I guess a cow moose looks like heaven to a bull moose, though. So that's all in the eyes of the beholder. Anyway, so try a prayer. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's getting late though. And that old man, black hole sim, black smoke sim, excuse me. Uh, don't lie, Greg. You got gold bars buried under the desert. I wish. I wish. If you know where I buried them, come show me. I could use them to help put a well in here and build my underground house I want to build. Finish this place up. Lordy, folks. Moose are honestly borderline insane. Yeah, they ain't gonna sit there and watch you coming at them, wait till you get in front and then get up to them and walk out in front of you. That's crazy. Yeah, I need to go to bed. Count the meese. Oh, that's how I go to sleep. No, I'll be counting the meese jumping over. Counting the meese jumping over a rock. A stump. Anyway, so that's a new one for you. Anyway, I tell you what, let's do a quick 2 minute or 2 minute prayer, just a quick one. Let's pray that we don't go down the road of World War III, that somebody has the wiser heads prevail. Pray for the health of all the people that watch, all our friends and family. So let's do that. I'm not going to tell you how to pray because this is not a religious channel. I'm not here to sway you into one way of thinking or the other. So pray according to your own faith. We'll do it in silence. So let's just do it for a minute here. Amen. I used to like to pray longer. I used to take prayer requests. We used to do this every time we did a live session. But gosh, I'm up so late and have to get up so early. It's rough. Oh, we got another super chat. Dat Silencer. Evening, Greg. Mental fortitude, strength, and prayer is our only hope. Amen to that. Well, salute to you. Thank you very much. Let me check my email just in case Kim Possible is working in the room and not saying anything. I don't think she is. I don't see anybody giving through that route. All righty. Well, we done good tonight in super chats. I really appreciate it, folks. I was driving home today and I always drive 50 miles an hour because I know critters are on the move. Amen. It's that time of the year, guys. There are going to be more critters on the move. And final advice is stay situationally aware when you're driving for critters on the move or somebody pulling up beside you trying to do something crazy. Make sure if you're being pulled over, it's by real law enforcement. Uh, and it might be best to pull over somewhere where there's other people that can see you, like maybe in a store, if at all possible. But guys, be situationally aware at all times. Keep your eyes looking around. If you're in an unknown place, don't get buried up in your phone like that little lady from Ukraine that is no longer with us. So you've got to be aware because there's a lot of people out there wanting to do mayhem. A lot of sickos out there, a lot of demonic souls. I really think that's a big part of it. I think the demons have been loosed. And a lot of people that were otherwise good people have been swayed to think some nutty things. Why else would people be speaking and celebrating somebody passing away? Oh, yeah, plain reality. I need to go to bed. Thank you very much. I got to get up early. That's why I drink coffee. I'm getting old for this game, though, guys. So, God bless you, Greg. Yes, all of you. So, what I want to say is thank you, Super Chatters, very much. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. And thank you, everyone, for coming in here and watching. Please subscribe, bang the bell, and click all and share my videos far and wide. The platform does not appreciate me, and Arnold in here can tell you that he don't even get notices. So please share the videos. Go into the comments after I post this video and say something, about the video or chat with your friends, and then comment somebody else's comment. Maybe get some thumbs up on the ones you like. All that helps. All that helps. And please hit the thumbs up before you leave the room. We use all that we can get. We still got 154 in the house. Well, anywho, guys, with that, I am going to say again, thank you all for watching. Let me find my button where I shut these videos down. And to one and all, a good night, good day wherever you are. And ho, 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 in memory of our cherished Granny Lana is no longer with us. Anyway, good night, everyone.